So, all right, so let's get started. And so can everyone hear me? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay, good. And so, this is a Master of Computer Science Research Project. This is a project course, and the same structure will apply to Honors of Computer Science Research Project. So let me see if I announce this QA session for, see, just 1 second. Yeah, we will have the same session for both honors and Master of Computer Science Research Project. So what I'm going to do is I will quickly go through this project to show you some key milestones. And then if you have a question, you can just ask me. Okay, so for both courses, we have exactly the same structure, right? So we got part A student, which means student will start from this semester, and we have part B student, which means student started last semester, right? So if we are part A student, you have 4 milestones. The first one is by the end of this week, you need to find a supervisor and confirm with your project. It could be just a tentative title, right? So you have 2 more weeks to finalize the scope of your project. And then you need, 3 weeks. Then you need to submit your proposal, research proposal. This is usually just 1 to 2 pages by the end of week 6. And then you are going to submit a progress report by the end of this semester, right? So I will go through the format of those milestones later. And then you will be required to give a progress presentation. Because of COVID-19, so we may have a different format of this presentation. So usually we have a face-to-face presentation. But last year, because of COVID-19, we have online presentation. So at this moment, we're still unsure about this. It's very likely to be an online presentation. Okay, so if it's an online presentation, you do not need to submit your PPT before the presentation, right? You just get it ready before your presentation. Okay, so I will announce the exact time of the presentation, maybe near the end of the semester. So the milestones, so submission deadline for project proposal and the final project has been released, right? So you could see some instructions here, right? So the first step is just to confirm project and supervisors. Please remember, you can just update your project information in this Google Sheet, right? This is important because sometimes we need to, for example, like send this project information to Ingenuity, which is a milestone you will have next semester. So this will make my life much easier. So the second milestone is proposal. So let me just show you some example of proposals. Just 1 second. Okay, so this is actually the course page from last year, right? So let me just see some example proposals. Okay, so in the proposal, you are going to introduce your problem, right? So this is general format of your research proposal. The introduction to your problem, and you need to do a brief literature review of the related work, like this one, right? So you just read a couple of papers and summarize what you have learned and how this is relevant to your current project. And then you need to talk a little bit about your research project at this stage, because it's just a research proposal, right? You perhaps just have a rough idea of about how to do this project, but it's totally okay. So you just need to describe the aim of your project, the main challenge, and the research question, and the methodology you are going to take to solve them, right? You can just discuss this part with your supervisor. And then reference, and sometimes it's good to include a timeline. I think this one didn't include timeline. Yeah, just list some key milestones, right? Do not need to be very complicated, just a few sentences to describe. It's okay. So this is the first milestone. Now let's have a look at the second milestone, proposal submission, right? Oh, sorry, the third milestone, your progress report. So your progress report would be in a very similar format. It's still double column, and I list one example in the submission page. So basically, you are going to have something like a short paper, right? You need to have an abstract and an introduction to your problem and a more involved literature review. For those two parts, you could reuse what you have written for proposal submission. And then you would talk about your problem and the experiment you have done during this semester, right? And present some preliminary results if you have. Right, so for example, like this one, this one is very good. So it shows some result. And also your future plan. So this is a plan for next semester. What are you going to do? And the reference. Okay, so this is second milestone. Third milestone. And for the progress presentation, so I will release some details about, as usually it's around 15 minutes, right? So you just need to give a presentation to describe your problem and your progress and your future plan. So basically the format, the content that you need to present in the presentation is quite similar to the progress report, but you need to compress everything into a 15 minutes talk. And so this is for part A student. So if you're a part B student, you already started this project last semester. So for this semester, you just got 2 milestones. The first one is poster submission. So if it's a usual case, we'll have a poster day. So which means you will make a poster and you're going to stand in front of the poster and make a presentation, right? By the way, if you're a part A student, next semester, you will also make a poster at an event called Ingenuity. So I think maybe by the end of this semester, you will receive some emails from Ingenuity. Okay, so you need to make sure you need to attend that, because this could be part of your assessment. But this is but this may change. because last year at the Ingenuity, we only got 3 minutes for each student. So each one can only present 3 minutes. It's just too short. And longer presentation was not supported by the online Ingenuity platform. So we haven't decided if or not the Ingenuity would be part of the assessment of this course. This totally depends on the changing situation of COVID. So if it's still online and if it's still 3 minutes, we probably won't include Ingenuity into the assessment, and we will have a separate presentation day. It's very likely to have that, but again, we haven't confirmed yet. So just pay attention to the announcement. And since we become much clear by the end of this semester. Okay, so if you're a Part B student, you probably will have an online presentation. And again, I will announce this information by the end of the semester, maybe after May. Okay, so for final report submission, sometimes called a thesis, you need to follow the PhD thesis and or master thesis, and you need to write around 50 pages, right? But this is not critical. For example, if you write 45 pages, and it's totally fine, right? As long as you describe what you have done through those 2 semesters. Okay, so if you want to follow a guideline, let me just switch to this one. If you are going to follow a guideline, you could just 1 second. Let me check. Okay, good. So if you want to follow a guideline, you can check this one. So this one got the I think this is a LaTeX template for master or doctor thesis, right? And you just write around 50 pages. That's enough. So let me just show you one example of thesis. So again, this is from last year. It's very slow. See if this one could be faster. No, not this one. Okay, so while it's uploading, I think I'm ready to take questions. So if you have a question, you can just unmute yourself.
Professor, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm a Part A student and
Yeah,
I'm currently remote student.
yeah,
Um, I have a question about the proposal submission.
yeah,
Uh, right now, my project is basically not a solid. I don't have a solid aim of what
yeah,
kind of things I'm gonna do. So you're saying like by the end of week 6,
yeah,
I should have a solid like project title and all of the questions
yeah,
sorted out, right?
yeah. And well, and it doesn't have to be very concrete. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
a rough idea about the direction you will go, right?
Okay, so this basically like if I can understand it like this. So by the end of week 6, I need to have some directions of which direction I'm
Exactly.
gonna to
Yeah,
work on,
yeah,
but this direction may change a little while the
yeah.
my research progress.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, and
Okay.
even if your, let's say, research progress report is
Mm-hmm.
slightly deviated from your initial proposal, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
As long as
Okay.
not a significant change, it should be fine.
Right. So the reason I ask this is because like the topic I choose
Yeah,
still requires me to do a lot of research on some basic
yeah,
materials. That's why I ask like
yeah,
during the further research, I
mm,
might find the initial proposal I write a little bit
yeah,
shabby or something.
yeah.
So I might
That's
change it.
totally fine. That's totally fine.
And also like because I'm working with neural network and
Yeah,
all the AI stuff, uh, and I'm a remote student.
yeah.
I suspect like if I can't attend or go to our school's lab, I might have some limitation on hardware. Is this something
Well,
that our school can
um,
help?
it might not be a big issue because
Uh-huh.
if we are working on neural network, the computational facility you need to use is a
Mm-hmm.
GPU server. And the GPU server is
Okay.
usually not available in the lab, but it's
Okay.
a remote server. So no
Oh.
matter if
Oh.
you were just working on campus or you are a
Mm-hmm.
remote student, you will access the remote server in the same way as long as you have the VPN.
Okay. Okay. Then that's sorted.
Yeah, so that
I'm
should be.
done with my questions, I guess.
By the way,
Yeah, yeah.
please contact your supervisor,
Mm-hmm.
and because we usually have a lot of computational facility issue if you are working on
Mm-hmm.
neural network based project.
Yeah.
And usually your supervisor is the best one could answer those questions.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
they have their own server, right? So
Yeah. One
they
more little question
yeah,
about the supervisor. I am like because I have never worked with a supervisor or
yeah.
like I am quite confused about
Mm.
what the supervisor like what kind of interactions do I need to have with my supervisor
Oh,
like
that's a very good question. So yeah, this is something I just forget to mention.
okay.
So if you got a supervisor, you are supposed to have a meeting with him or her at least every 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
So in the meeting, you will need to present uh, what you have done in the past 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and the supervisor will assess your progress and give you advice of how to proceed in the next 2 weeks, right?
Okay.
So if it's possible, just try to have a meeting with your supervisor every week. But I understand because lots of supervisor has supervised so many projects, so
Mm-hmm.
a meeting per week may not be feasible for everyone. But if you could, I would suggest every.
Because when I email my supervisor, I like yesterday I emailed her saying like I need to do some research and then come up with some ideas of what direction I might have.
Yeah.
And she basically said, I'm looking forward to your email. Does that mean like, so I mean, my understanding is the decision I made like for my direction is totally my responsibility, and the supervisor is there to provide some degree of help, right?
Well, it's actually not a user case. The user case is the supervisor will provide you a direction.
Oh.
And you will just come up with some solutions and discuss with him or her, right? So this would be actually the best practice. So if you look at, by the way, there would be, I guess I forgot to mention the rubric of this course, right? So your progress, if you're part A student, would be assessed by, I guess it's four rubrics. So the first three corresponding to the three milestones, right? Research proposal. I probably can just stop the video because the network connection is not so good. Yeah. Okay. So the first three milestones, first three rubrics will corresponding to three milestones: your research proposal, your presentation, and your final your progress report, right? So you can find those milestones at the homepage, right? So there is actually one rubric which is not corresponding to any of those milestones. It's about your general progress. And if you look at that, so let me see. Yeah, progress break. So if you look at that, there is one thing called the supervision versus independence. So we encourage some sorts of independency in this research project, which means we hope this project is driven by you. This is ideal, but please note that this doesn't mean we encourage you go without your supervisor, right? So your supervisor has more experience in your research project, and you are supposed to discuss with them and learn with them, right? So just you need to achieve a right balance between complete independent and also completely relying on your supervisor, right? So in your case, I think you are quite independent. I would encourage you to have more discussion with your supervisor. If you find any problem, you are not sure about the direction, please don't be shy to contact your supervisor, right?
Okay. Because right now, like my situation is, I'm researching like some basic knowledge of neural network and all the stuff. But like the supervisor mentioned to me, if I'm interested to implement a new approach on a specific question, which use neural network, and I am a little bit like worried because right now at this moment, like I'm not fully like capable of finding any new approach. I just need to understand what the previous approach has been taken, and so you recommend me like I might need to contact my supervisor as soon as possible to maybe ask her what are the potential approaches or area of study could be, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Well, maybe I can just put it this way because we have a lot of students this semester because we got mass of machine learning and mass of data science. We have lots of program, and we have different type of supervisors. Some of them with rich experience, some of them are quite relatively new, but they are still the expert in their own area, right? So if you have any feedback about your understanding of the project, for example, like you mentioned, you're still uncertain about your capability of come up with a total new solution, please let your supervisor know and have a discussion with them.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's the end of my question. Thanks for your time.
And no worries. Thank you. So any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, so Harold, do you have any questions? No? Okay, that's good. So let me see if I covered everything. Yeah, so I think I covered everything. So if no, that's the end of today's session. Okay, thank you for coming. Okay, I will upload this workshop, the recording of this workshop, so everyone can see that. Okay, so if you have more questions, please send me an email. Okay, see you.